These 8 advanced English words will lift your fluency and your IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge score, and you won't just memorize them. You'll meet each one inside the story, feel what it means, then prove you caught it. That's how your brain keeps them for good. For 3 years, no rain had fallen on the valley of Sarn, and in the 3rd year, the people did something they had not done for 100 summers. They climbed the mountain to wake the old god of the rain. The legend told them exactly what to bring. Every soul in the valley believed they understood it. Every soul was wrong. The land had turned barren. The river was a cracked white scar, the fields gray dust, the cattle bones in the heat. In all their long history, the people of Sarn had never known a plight so cruel. Children cried for water that no well would give. The barren earth drank every prayer and gave nothing back. The elders remembered the legend. High on the mountain slept Aru, the god of the rain, and to whoever carried him the most precious thing in the valley, Aru would bestow water once again. So the people emptied their homes. They gathered their treasures, and one by one, the proudest among them set out up the long stone path to buy back the rain. First went Lord Wane, the richest man in Sarn, haughty and certain. He carried a chest of gold and a crown of white jewels. On the path, he passed a beggar, old and dying of thirst in the dust, and he scorned him, stepping over the outstretched hand as though it were a stone. "The god wants gold," he said, "not beggars." At the summit, Lord Wane laid his treasure before the silent mountain and waited. He waited a day and a night, but no cloud gathered and no rain fell, and Aru did not bestow so much as a single drop. At last, the haughty lord went home with his gold and his fury, and the sky stayed cruel and clear. Others followed, all the proud and the powerful, all the people the valley most revered. They brought silver and heirlooms and sacred relics older than the town. Each one passed the dying beggar on the path. Each one scorned him, and each one came down again with empty hands and an emptier sky. Last of all came a humble orphan girl named Ila, who owned nothing in the world but a cracked clay cup. She had no treasure to offer. She climbed only because her baby brother was dying, and she could not sit in their hut and watch him go. The valley's plight had become, that morning, her own small and breaking heart. Halfway up the mountain, Ila found the old beggar where all the others had left him, gray-lipped and almost gone. In her cup was the last water in her house, a few warm mouthfuls she had carried up for herself. She did not think about the legend. She knelt, lifted his head, and gave him every drop. She had meant to keep climbing, but the man drank, and as he drank, Ila watched her water wane to nothing, and she understood she had just given away the only thing that might have saved her. Her chance at the summit had waned to an empty cup. She wept then, not for the god, but for her brother. And the beggar opened his eyes. They were not a dying man's eyes. They were deep as wells and old as the sky. 100 years, said Aru, the god of the rain. Your people have climbed to me with their gold. And 100 years they read the legend wrong. For the old words had never said the most precious thing. They had said the thing you can least afford to give. Lord Wane could spare his gold 1,000 times over. But a thirsty orphan with 1 cup of water, who gives that cup to a stranger, she gives what cannot be spared at all. That, and only that, was the offering Aru had waited a century to see. The god rose, no longer old, no longer humble in his rags, towering now against the burning sky. He set one hand upon Ila's bowed head, and with the other he reached up and tore the clouds open. Rain fell upon the valley of Sarn for the first time in 3 long years, and it was Ila, the girl with nothing, upon whom that first rain was bestowed. She ran home through the downpour with her cup full to the brim and her face turned up to the storm. Her brother lived. The river woke. The barren fields turned green before the month was out, and the people who had scorned the beggar on the path lived ever after with the memory of what they had stepped over. They say in Sarn that the rich are still revered there, but a little less than before, and that a humble clay cup is honored now above any crown. And whenever a stranger asks for water on the road, no one in that valley, however poor, has ever again been known to refuse. The legend is still told to every child of the valley, but they tell it correctly now. Aru never wanted the most precious thing. He wanted to see who, in their darkest plight, would still give away what they could not spare, And the proud, who carried him everything they owned, had never once understood that they were keeping the only thing he asked for. Now, did you catch all 8? Let's find out. An adjective describing land that is dry, empty, and grows nothing. Think of a stretch of cracked desert where not a single plant lives. 3 years of drought left the valley's fields exactly like this. The what kind of fields could not grow a single blade of grass?
The word is barren.
Nothing would grow in the dry, barren soil of the hillside. An adjective meaning modest and lowly, not proud or grand. Think of a great person who still treats everyone as their equal. Ila was this, a poor orphan who owned only a cracked cup. It was a what kind of girl with nothing, not a rich lord who saved them all?
The word is humble.
Despite his great fame, he remained a humble and gentle man. A verb meaning to treat someone with contempt and look down on them. It's the cold way a snob sneers at a person they think beneath them. Every rich traveler did this to the dying beggar on the path. The proud lord chose to do what to the beggar? Sneer at him and step over his hand?
The word is scorn.
The judges scorn any singer who dares to break the rules. A noun for a difficult, dangerous, or distressing situation. It's the desperate fix a shipwrecked sailor finds himself trapped in. The endless drought was the cruel one that gripped the whole valley. Nothing could ease the valley's terrible what until the rain returned?
The word is plight.
Aid workers rushed to help the plight of the flooded village. A verb meaning to grow steadily less, fading like the shrinking moon. It's what daylight does each evening, slowly slipping away into dark. As the beggar drank, Illa watched her last water do exactly this. Her one chance to reach the god began to do what with every sip he took?
The word is wane.
Public interest in the old festival had slowly begun to wane. An adjective meaning arrogantly proud, cold, and looking down on others. Think of a noble who lifts their chin and sneers at common folk. Lord Vane was this, certain his gold alone could buy back the rain. The what kind of lord stepped over a dying man as if he were a stone?
The word is haughty.
She gave the nervous waiter a haughty look and turned away. A verb meaning to respect and honor someone very deeply, almost to worship. It's how a nation feels about a beloved hero or a wise old leader. The valley did this to its rich and powerful above everyone else. The people had learned to do what to wealth, honor it deeply, far more than simple kindness.
The word is revere.
Students still revere the old professor who changed their lives. A verb meaning to give or grant something, often formally or from above. It's what a queen does when she hands a kneeling knight his title and sword. The legend promised the god would do this with rain in return for an offering. Aru would do what? Grant life-giving water on whoever gave what they could not spare.
The word is bestow.
The king chose to bestow a great honor upon the young soldier. Quick recap. How many do you still remember?
Barren. Humble. Scorn. Plight. Wane. Haughty. Revere. Bestow.
A new English story every day. Subscribe and learn advanced words the way your brain actually keeps them. Inside a story you won't forget.